Welcome everyone to my channel. Brickhouse here with another video, and Megan Rapinoe is in the news again. That's right, everybody's favorite, now retired, women's soccer player who claims to be an advocate for women in women's sports is actually advocating for men to play women's sports. That's right. This is from Breitbart.com. Megan Rapinoe joins gay advocacy group's letter urging NCAA not to ban trans athletes from women's sports. Not a surprise that she's doing this because she's retired and she won't have to compete against them. And in just my opinion here, folks, Megan Rapinoe is despicable. I'm not going to take anything away from what she's done as far as being part of the women's national team, winning World Cups, gold medals, whatever. But as a individual, as a human being, I find her detestable. So here we go. A radical LGBTQ group has elicited the support of 400 athletes, including Megan Rapinoe and Sue Bird, urging the NCAA not to ban transgender athletes from college sports. 400 athletes? Really? Come on. And I'm not surprised that Sue Bird's included. Just saying. The letters, sponsored by the LGBTQ sports advocacy group Athlete Ally, were sent to the NCAA on Tuesday to support male-born athletes competing against women in college sports, NBC News reported. Folks, if you haven't figured it out yet, they're basically trying to do away with women's sports. I mean, honestly, if you can't cut it as a guy in sports, but yet you can say, I identify as a woman, now I'm going to play women's sports, I'm going to beat all the women. That's just insane. Here's what the letter said. We call on you to be on the right side of history. They always say that. And affirm that sport is truly for us all. Sports is for everybody. If you're a guy, compete with the guys. If you're a woman, compete with women. The letter signed by athletes, many of whom are already retired. Oh, go figure. Most of them are retired. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Says, do not ban transgender women from the NCAA women's sports. I believe the NAIA has already implemented such a rule. And I think the NCAA's maybe, possibly, hopefully, gonna follow that same rule. In her own statement about the letter, Rapinoe pounces on advocates for saving women's sports from the incursions of transgender players, saying those who claim they are protecting women's sports do not speak for us and do nothing to protect us. Megan, you have that wrong. Riley Gaines is out there trying to protect women's sports, women's athletics. I guess what's up is down and down is up. We live in an inverse world. Because now if you're trying to protect women's sports, you're not protecting women's sports. The time is now for the NCAA and the nationwide athletic community to speak up and affirm that sports should be for everyone, including transgender athletes. If you're born a man, you play against the men. Real simple. Rapinoe added. In response to the letter, the NCAA insisted that it would follow Title IX rules. And in a statement said college sports are the premier stage for women's sports in America, and the NCAA will continue to promote Title IX, make unprecedented investments in women's sports, and ensure fair competition for all student athletes in all NCAA championships. Now, it was just recently where Joe Biden, had made some changes to Title IX rules. And those changes are that schools may not ban transgender athletes, even though the word transgender was studiously avoided by the rules changes. So Title IX has now been morphed into something that's not supposed to be. Like most other things the government touches. Despite the Title IX rules, though, nearly half the states have rules banning or limiting transgender athletes' participation in state-sponsored schools. The NCAA has permitted some transgender athletes to compete in women's sports, but in 2022, updated its inclusion rules to make trans participation a bit harder. The sports governing body changed its policy to a sport-by-sport basis instead of a blanket inclusion. I mean, so picture this, guys. You have a men's basketball player that's riding the bench for his team decide, you know what? I identify as a woman. I'm going to play with the women now. And just crushes the women's game. Is that really fair? Is that really right? That's just one example I can give. I can give more. This year, though, a group of 17 House Republicans sent a letter of their own to the NCAA urging for the organization to ban male-born athletes from competing as women. Around 16 former NCAA female athletes sued the group for allowing men to play as women. So there you have it. Megan Rapinoe decides to, in my opinion, step into the wrong side of history, even though she's saying she's on the right side of history. But what say you out there? Leave a comment down below. Don't be afraid to share your opinion, guys. I love it when people comment. Whether you agree with me, disagree with me. This is what I'm doing to just get the word out there and become another voice. While you're commenting, please take the time to smash that like button. It helps out the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a video. And with that, I thank you for taking the time to watch. I appreciate you taking the time to tune in, and I will see you in the next one.